Jurassic World Evolution 3. The game all about creating dinosaur parks teeming with life. Now your typical park is gonna look something like this. You got a great variety of species, maybe some weird looking roads to a sky aquarium. Basic park. But what if you were gonna try to make a park with only one dino? The only dino you need. Welcome to Compy Land. Now, I have a vision for creating a successful park using only Compys. I'm not sure if it's even possible, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. So we're starting off, of course, with the meat and potatoes of our park, getting all these operations underway. And now we're gonna send our one employee to dig up the only specimen we'll ever need. And while he's off digging, I'm gonna start building our first exhibit. And I'm sure you can guess what's gonna be housed in here. Well, looks like not only have we dug up some Compys, we've got quite a few riches as well, which will be useful because I started off with the lowest budget option. Oh, we need one more science point. I thought 2 was gonna be enough, dang it. I guess I can train my singular employee a little bit more. There we go. I don't know if we're ever gonna need a second employee. I mean, eventually this guy's gonna have to, go to sleep. And while he's cooking up the Compys, I'm gonna pull out our secret weapon. Now these amenities are gonna make or break our park. You see, the clientele that Compyland is gonna attract is not gonna be very wise with their money, else they would have gone to a much better park. Now the most integral part of this playthrough is gonna be the very beginning. If you look right here, my current contract is to basically not go bankrupt. I just need to break even, which is a bit sad, really. But right now, we're gonna have our first group of Compys. The red Compys, of course. Here they come. Yes, all red and wonderful. I thought, if we just release a bunch of just different color Compys in every exhibit, what's the point of going to different ones? So we're gonna have a red Compy exhibit, a green Compy exhibit, blue, every color under the rainbow. We're gonna have Compys for it. And now that we got these guys, yes, the consumers have arrived. Well, a lot of these people look like workers, but also consumers. And now I'm gonna edit all these amenities until we get the most bang for our buck. So ice cream, jukebox, and anything else. Statue, sure. And what is going on? Are these guys already trying to break out? Okay, yeah, maybe I need to do a little checkup here. I saved our little response facility for last, just because I knew I wouldn't need it till a little bit later on. But now that we're getting some money in, I feel comfortable building it. And then we'll assign them to this ranger post, and then figure out what all these little guys are complaining about. Okay, they want meat and arid. I gave them meat, they just haven't found it yet. So all I need to do is alter the environment a little, which is pretty easy. Only problem now is being able to find them so I can make sure that they're comfortable. Okay, yeah, they're happy. So now we're just gonna release some more Compys. And let me clarify, when I say some more Compys, I mean a lot more Compys. Okay, so we have another contract available. This one might be easy if we can get a bunch of Compys in a group. And any contract that involves a dinosaur other than a Compy, of course, we're not going to be able to choose. So this one pays more. Genetic modifications, that's pretty easy. So we'll do that. And let's actually see what modifications we can make. Ooh, fertility. We might do a little bit of that. We don't have any males in the park yet because we haven't unlocked enough of the genome. But if we can get a Compy breeding program set, that's going to be awesome. Now, there's a feature in this game I haven't really messed with yet, and that is automation. So let's see what this is all about. Automate the creation of a set of animals of the species. Once released, the bay will keep track of the released dinosaurs and maintain the... Okay, so what if we just crank this to 40 and 40? Oh, what is this? A dinosaur handler was injured? I've never seen this before. Is this new? pay them compensation, earn some goodwill, and compensate the handler for their unfortunate injury, or do nothing, they knew the risks of their job. Of course we're gonna choose this one. And if any sabotage happens, we know it's this guy, right? Because he's the only employee in the park. And if he dares mess with Compyland, I will personally
cut off his hands.
Now, one of the... Oh my... He just ate that whole big piece of meat. What a chonker. But one of the most interesting parts of Compys is... If you go over to their population needs, there's no red bit at the end of here. You could have a theoretically infinite amount of these guys, and they won't have a care in the world. So, I'm going to see if we can go into uncharted territory and figure out if there is a set max to the amount of these guys you can have. Or, you know, maybe it's just whenever your computer starts to rupture. But, you know, I think it'll be an interesting experiment. So, I was just enjoying building my park. You know, I just got this new maintenance facility down here. And somebody sabotaged the park. Now, remember what I said earlier? Now, Mr. Williams here, he likes to do a lot of good things. He spends time with charity, he fights climate change, and he travels the world. Well, let's see how he does that with no hands. Now, of course, I wouldn't really want to fire him, seeing as I invested a lot of money into training genetics and welfare, and he's been pretty good at getting these Compys out, but he now has no hands, as his name so implies. But yeah, otherwise the park's been doing great. I've been trying to increase ticket sales for this challenge. Unfortunately, though, I don't think I'm going to make it on the time, but, you know, we'll eventually get there. And of course, the Compy Industrial Complex has been hard at work. Now I'm going to see how many of these guys we can actually get in a photo. How about right there? Wow, the game just lagged a lot there. Oh my, we get like 3,000 per Compy. We might be able to make a lot of money off this, actually. Yeah, judging by my calculator, if we get 500 Compys at a rate of 3,000 per Compy, we could be making $1.5 million per photo. Now that's pretty sweet. But as crazy as it sounds, I think people are starting to get a little bit tired of just red Compys. So I'm going to go ahead and build the next exhibit. And I think I'm going to start using these heavy fences that don't require electricity, just in case Mr. No Hands has any clever ideas. And I'd like to imagine that our guests are thinking, okay, great, we're getting something other than Compys. It's a massively reinforced area. You know, maybe it's going to be something big and scary. Maybe even a T-Rex, right? Well, I think it's written on the tin what they can expect to see in here. And also, aren't these supposed to be on fire? Maybe I didn't have a substation close enough to it? Let's see. There we go, yes. That looks better. I have no hands is disgruntled. Ha! You think I care? I've been digging up a few more Compy fossils so that we can get 100% of the genome. So, you know what? You can do a little bit more. I'm sure it is hard to extract DNA with no hands. So, you know what? You're gonna get your first break ever. Enjoy it. It's only gonna be 4 minutes. And while No Hands is getting some shut-eye, let's engineer a next kind of Compy. Ooh, I like this purple color. Very purpley. Doesn't really show up super well, though, does it? Let's see if it looks better on the male. Yeah, they look kind of dull, which is a shame because I like purple. I think the blue really shows up good, though. Blue and yellow? That might work. Alright, we're gonna call this the blue raspberry Compy. Completely different from the red Compy. And we're going to, of course, have 40 and 40. Oh, might have not been a good idea to put a gate down with no power. Let me just get some pylons and a substation. Boom, easy fix. And at first building this Compy park, I was like, oh, dinosaurs escape, no problem, it's Compys. And then it occurred to me, if we have like 300 plus, and we have a rupture in one of these gates, there's no way I'm ever going to secure all of those Compys. It's just gonna, the whole island's gonna belong to them. We're gonna have to pack up and move somewhere else. So I might try to upgrade this exhibit to have a fence like this, or even include like a double layer fence, just in case. Oh, we have another event. The site owner wants an incubating dinosaur ready as soon as possible. Force your scientists to work overtime or scientists' well-being. Come on, stop making these things so easy. Now, one thing I noticed when generating this island, and I love the randomly generated islands. It's one of my favorite features in this game. But we have this neat little offshoot of the island, and I did have my arrival point here initially until I figured out I couldn't build a bridge. Now, I've been trying to figure out if there's a way to connect this to this. I tried a zip line. That didn't work. So next we're going to try the monorail, because if I remember right, you can kind of have the tracks go over the ocean a little bit. So we're just going to see if we can get this to work, hopefully. And oh my. Okay, that actually works. Perfect. It honestly might be cool to have the arrival point over here and then have everyone take the monorail to this part. I think that's kind of how it is actually in Jurassic World. So I might give that a try. I just don't know if it's going to create kind of a bottleneck and stop the amount of guests that we're getting, you know? Now let's just turn all of this into beautiful grass. Yes. The most suburban looking mountain I've ever seen. Then we'll have a power station right here. And then we're going to move our arrival point right here and quickly connect it. Quickly. There we go. And then, you know, why not have this monorail track extend further throughout the park? Go like this. Around. Oh, yes, over this chasm. That looks awesome. And now that Compyland's been getting larger, I'm going to start using these large paths. You can tell that I don't think ahead when it comes to infrastructure. But I doubt that'll be too much of a problem. There we go. Yeah, you know, I actually really like how this functions. I'll try to include the island code in the description in case you want to use this island as well. And looking at our Compy population, they now have 51 members. They need a little bit more arid. And it's looking like we might run out of area soon, which is something I didn't really anticipate. Lucky for me, though, we can raise this terrain up here and extend the exhibit quite a bit. And now we got this little extension. It's time to tear down the wall. Boom, just basically doubled the size of this enclosure. And then I'm going to include some more viewing galleries. Perfect. And you know what? Why not add another hatchery as well? And really, for how long this has been going on, 62 is rookie numbers. And stupid me didn't realize I could double up on each of these hatcheries. So I'm going to do that to this one as well. And I was thinking about, you know, adding more hatcheries along the perimeter. But I just came up with a way better idea. You see, if we really are going to capitalize on automation, we need an offshore incubation program. And yeah, they like to make these little jut outs. I really don't like how this looks. Just kind of ruin the aesthetic of our island. But you know what? It's going to be worth it. And here come the helicopters. I wonder what these guys are bringing in. Let's have ourselves a look-see. Oh, you can't even hardly tell there's a dinosaur attached to these things. Yeah, there we go. We got helicopters flying in Compys one by one. What isn't there to like? And one of the interesting things about parks is your appeal isn't directly related to variety or, you know, size of dinosaurs. You get more appeal for it. But if you just crank out a mass number of combis, you can see we've reached 20% dinosaur appeal, which is not that bad. Oh, another contract. Can't do this one. I think this one's the obvious choice, right? You know, why would I go on an expedition? I have all the dinosaur species I could ever need. Alright, let's try to take another photo. The only problem is now these Compys are more spaced out, but you know, that's a lot in the distance over there. That's a lot of Compys. Now, something that I have not tinkered with yet in this game is nesting, and I don't know why all these frowny faces are here, but we're gonna put down a little nesting area right there. And what? Too many dinosaurs in territory? You're telling me these guys don't want to breed anymore? Okay, well, you know what? Fine, I'll take your nest away. We don't need them to breed anyways. We can force it on them. Yeah, you hear that, buddy? I can have as many of you as I like. And honestly, 96 is not enough. And remember what I said earlier about reinforcing this area? I might go ahead and start trying to do it, because the more Compys we get, the harder it's going to be to reinforce, because they're all blocking this. So we'll do something like that. Just kind of going all around here, reinforcing it, and then we're getting rid of this old fence. And one odd occurrence I've been having is sometimes these hatcheries get like jammed up. Like they won't release the Compy for some reason. You see he's in here, ready for release. This one's cooking up, and it's just gonna start. So some of these guys just don't end up getting released, and I have to do it manually. So yeah, if you're ever doing this, make sure to get them Compys out of there. Overall though, to my surprise, Compyland has been a roaring success. So much so that I'm gonna include another sign right in front of this monorail. Okay, so slight little problemo. We have some Compys that are dying, and it's due to low food. So I've been trying to add more feeders in here. I can't hardly fit any though because of the number of Compys. I mean, it's hard enough to get this second pond down. I was going to try to expand this one, but there's too many Compys around it. But I thought they might need more water because the amount of Compy manure that's probably just floating around here has transformed this into an ammonia puddle. Now, recently, our park has been rampant with disease, and whenever I check why, it's always environmental issues. Area, they want more arid regions, they want more water. So I thought I'd kind of make a blank slate over here. We're gonna get plenty of arid all around here. Big old lake. And we're gonna get rid of all of these paths. And then I'm gonna add this little channel so that the Compys can kind of get over here without impacting our pathways. And then we do a little bit of this action. And bam! Whole new area. And then instead of adding the typical viewing galleries, I just added these ones that are kind of in the exhibit. So all around them I can just put these feeding containers. But anyways, I don't really care about these guys over here that much, because over in the new portion I built a Compy factory. Oh yes, this is quite satisfactory. And here out every single one of these doors comes a Compy. Oh look, these two Compys are mad because their population is too small. Sweet ignorant fools. If only they knew. If only they knew. Yeah, I just remembered that you can pull up this menu. It's funny, you can see the Compys flying over. Yeah. This is crazy. Now, I've been getting these lag spikes, and I think I'm starting to near the end of this experiment. Yeah, you can see that, especially when I'm on triple speed like this, it's just constantly lagging. And that doesn't really surprise me, considering we are at 441 Compys and counting. So yeah, I think I answered my question. You can most definitely have a successful park with only Compys. Now, there's one last thing I need to do. You see, this was never Compyland. This right here was never Compyland. You see, this whole island is Compyland, which is why I need to get rid of those fences. And well, let's just say The guests are not happy. Oh yes, this is glorious. It's every man for himself now that the Compys are out. You fools, you funded your own execution. This poor guy, he just keeps on getting jumped on by like hundreds of Compys. Guess fatality going viral. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna deny responsibility. Yeah, this here never happened. I think everyone just, made up stories. In fact, that may be plausible once I get rid of the only escape. After all, these Compys are gonna need plenty of food to survive. Oh no, a politician was the victim of the latest outbreak, and their rivals believe we engineered the situation and want to. Oh my, we're getting paid because we killed somebody? Awesome! Oh yes, let's put this on our news feed. Just Compys and a bunch of bodies. Yeah, that's $313,000. Another politician? Yes, let's get some more money. Oh, sabotage, power loss. Yeah, you know what? I actually like you now, No Hands, because this was the perfect opportunity to cut off power. Because now these people are going to have nowhere to hide. Although, unfortunately, Mr. No Hands wasn't smart enough to get off the island before cutting off power. Not like he could anyways. So, of course, he's going to become one of the unfortunate victims. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me if I should do more challenge videos like this in the future because, well, I had a wonderful time.